Hi, good evening, and greetings on this Wednesday, the 11th day of May already. We'll not talk about how quickly this month is going by and that it's nearing the halfway mark, but that would be talking about it, so my apologies. Let's go on to your weather, where a nice break was warranted today. I mean, we, as I'm referring to players and parents and coaches and staff, and a lot of other folks obviously as well, but we were caught in those showers, and it's hard to refer them. Well, you can't. They were just all outright downpours, sheets of rain last night, and significant weather conditions. And we're going to see unsettled conditions throughout the rest of your work week for the most part. Even though we saw a nice break today, we still have some scattered showers. Nothing quite as put together and as organized and as intense, certainly, coming from the National Weather Service, but still some active weather to speak of, and definitely some cooler air for your weekend. We'll take a look at the Mayfield tornado and some damage left behind there just briefly. We'll talk about more updates and more pictures released as it pertains to the Amber Alert ongoing now, active in nearly 24 states. On the local front, just as I was with you last evening, a young Magoffin County girl was seriously injured and thus airlifted after being burned in a grease fire that destroyed her home. And then just a short time later, a young Magoffin County man, a young boy injured in a motorcycle accident, he too airlifted. His condition is still critical, and he was injured seriously, perhaps even more so than what rescue and EMS personnel thought. I've got a scam from the Magoffin County Sheriff's Department that I need to share with you, and indeed we'll be able to share some with you tonight. That wedding in the Agriculture Department at the Magoffin County High School yesterday. Your list of the finalists for the Superintendent of Schools position. That list to be considered by the Magoffin County Board of Education. We'll talk about who they are, and I'll get you caught up on that situation as well, and a whole lot of other news and information. Perhaps I'm leaving that even a few big headlines, so we better go ahead and get right to it. An announcement that I had yesterday, and there was actually a typo that we kind of caught, and we've got the straight of it tonight, and it's about a couple of half marathons and a walk with mom set for this weekend. It's actually the Honeysuckle and Horse Paddy half marathons. Say it real fast 3 times with me. They have put this together, they being the Royalton Trail Town Committee, Sandy Valley, and the Big Sandy Scottish Rite Clubs. And they've put together a couple of half marathons and a mile walk with mom for those who might want to take it a little bit easier. It's all this Saturday on our own Dawkins Trail. Here's what I can tell you. And I'll try to have even some more tomorrow. But for now, the Honeysuckle half marathon is going to start at 8 o'clock this Saturday morning. It's going to go from the large bottom, the festival bottom there in downtown Royalton, to the Ivington Tunnel. The Horse Paddy half marathon will start at 10 a.m. That will leave the festival bottom and go to the Tip Top Tunnel. And then the mile walk with mom starts at 10 a.m., also from the festival bottom, and it goes down the Gun Creek Road. So if you'd like to join them for those events, please be sure to do so. 8 o'clock for one, 10 o'clock for the others, 10:10 actually for the mile walk with mom. That will start soon after the Horse Paddy half marathon. I'll try to have someone to tell us more about them before the end of the week. But all that starting Saturday in downtown Royalton on the Dawkins Trail. Just as I was with you last evening in an attempt, as I did actually succeed for once, to get out early and make it to Andrew's ball game, there was a couple of serious calls of emergency beginning. One, just as I was literally with you, about a structure fire. It happened on Buffalo here in Magoffin County. The Bloomington Fire Department, also with some mutual aid responding as well, all went to a residence where a young Magoffin County girl was seriously injured, ultimately airlifted to a trauma center for serious burns. We're glad to report that she's doing very, very well at this hour. However, her family has lost basically their home and all their belongings. Fire Chief Allison Howard of the Bloomington Mountaineer Volunteer Fire Department gives us some more details. The fire broke out at this residence on Buffalo in Magoffin County, a Gamble residence where a 14-year-old girl at home had fixed something to eat and some grease left on the stove caught on fire. To try to keep her house from burning, she grabbed the skillet or pot and then made her way through the house and out to the front porch, and that was where the fire quickly spread. Actually, we're told that it's believed that a trail of burning grease would have followed her outside the home, and then a large fire even began on the porch. In a matter of seconds, the house was completely engulfed in flames, but fortunately, the young girl was able to make it out without life-threatening, but what was serious injuries, second and third degree burns to her foot that EMS and paramedics on scene considered to be traumatic injuries.
We found a mobile home on Buffalo of Bobby and Mary Gamble was full engulfed with flames coming out the front doors and coming out the side of it. They said that the daughter was cooking. She stated that she spilled some grease, burned her feet pretty bad, and she thought she had the fire put out. She called family members to come to her. And when they got there, that they noticed the kitchen was still on fire, and it ignited all through the house. As with backup from North Magoffin and Sayersville, we combated the flames for about 2.5 hours. It completely destroyed the house. The child was airlifted to Pikeville.
That life flight happened after a landing zone was established at the Elk Creek BP there at the junction of 460. Kentucky 9 arrived momentarily, initially headed to the Cabell-Huntington burn unit. However, the pilot did have to soon determine, however, that the Cabell-Huntington and the UK Medical Center both would be blocked by storms that were rolling through much of Kentucky at that time. It was then decided that she would be taken to the Pikeville Medical Center. We've also since learned that after being confirmed to have had 2nd and 3rd degree burns to one of her feet, she was taken by family to the Cabell-Huntington burn unit, and we've also learned, so fortunately, that she's been since released. As for the family's home and their belongings, most everything, a complete and total loss.
The daddy said that they had insurance through the bank just to cover for what he owed on a mortgage. Other than that, he probably wouldn't get nothing else. He'd probably just pay it off. Other than that, that's all we know at this time.
Before I go on to other headlines, I meant to make an apology in advance before I began. Not sure if it's allergies or a bug or what have you, but I'm impressed that I've been able to make it this far without coughing and hacking on air. So from this point further, I'm going to be covered with an apology once again in advance and may have to take a little sip of water here to kind of get me over a dry spell. Nevertheless, on to our second of two tragic incidents in Magoffin County yesterday evening, the second of which involved a young man on Horsepen Road in Magoffin County. That call came into 911 about 8 o'clock last night of a motorcycle, a dirt bike specifically, versus vehicle accident on the narrow road of Horsepen off of Route 40 in the Falcon area. I was unable to reach any of Jimmy Saggers' family today, but we did confirm through an uncle, I believe, through EMS on his condition. I'll have that for you in just a few seconds, but on the narrow, basically one-lane road of Horsepen last evening, Magoffin County Sheriff's Deputy Brian Tipton worked an accident involving a dirt bike being operated by Jimmy Salyers. His family and friends and the public at large are coming together to ask for prayers in his honor as he is still in critical condition. The Magoffin County High School graduate of 2014, I believe also played football, I know his senior year, and may have played all 4 years under Coach Chester and Coach Scotty McCoy. Nevertheless, the recent graduate was riding a dirt bike when it collided with a passenger vehicle. The dirt bike then, as well as Mr. Salyer, careened over a very steep and significant embankment where he was found, I believe, at or near the bottom. The dirt bike he was riding was recovered and showed little signs of damage. However, Salyer would not be as fortunate, and we are told was undergoing significant and actually major surgery earlier today to several injuries, we believe, most significantly to his neck, back, and at least one of his legs. You can see the traffic at the top of the hill, and you can see the bottom of it below. This is pretty much the area which he was found after coming into contact with the vehicle. He would have been life-flighted from the scene, but by this time last evening, the weather that we've already referred to on a couple of occasions was rolling in and prevented live flight. And given the severity of his condition, the paramedics on scene were given permission to take him by ambulance to not the closest hospital, but on to the Pikeville Medical Center, which is a trauma center. There, we are said that he was diagnosed and found to have 2 fractured vertebrae in his neck, 3 in his back, a crushed femur. A kneecap would require replacement, and he was undergoing a significant, lengthy, and major surgery earlier today. At last report, the young man was still in critical condition. The operator of the vehicle was not injured. We'll be right back in just a moment. For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract, with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. Still a lot of local ground to cover, but right now let's take a look at the still ongoing Amber Alert, the latest updates, and the nearly 24 states where police are following up on leads. It's been 1 week ago today that 9-year-old Carly Trent was taken from her elementary school in Rogersville, Tennessee by her uncle, who does not have legal custody of her. And they, with the exception of being seen in a couple of retail stores, a Walmart, and a Save-A-Lot thereafter, there have been no sightings since. There have been several leads that have come into authorities. Today, they say they've followed up on 1,200 leads all over the United States. This is the latest picture that they have of 57-year-old Gary Simpson, the uncle that has been confirmed to have taken her from school. He's been seen with her purchasing several items. This is the actual van that they were seen leaving those stores, a Dodge conversion van, white, gold running boards, a dark and gold stripe down the middle. This is the pictures. They are absolutely following up with every lead they can, and they're also putting out every tidbit of information they can in hopes that someone might recognize that plush throw, maybe these pants or jeans that she might be wearing, or any of the other items that were purchased with her uncle before they just basically disappeared off the face of the earth. They also purchased some camping gear and some toiletries and things of that nature to lead authorities to believe that they are somewhere possibly well off the grid. It appears to possibly be working. 1,200 leads all over the United States, nearly 20 states, 19 actively assisting, including Kentucky, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation in looking for the little girl. A $12,500 reward is still in effect, and they are still stressing to the 10th degree, or the nth degree, as we should say, or often do, that this little girl is believed to be in imminent danger and possibly facing death as a result of being kidnapped by her uncle. 1-800-TBI for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, FIND, FIND. TBI FIND is the 1-800 number to call, and they're asking, just as more than 1,200 people have done, if you see a van, a child, a fellow matching that description, or anything that may possibly be her, don't take it for granted that it's not, because they literally just don't have any idea about their whereabouts at this hour. Without a doubt, we here in the area know all too well and have a complete understanding as to what our fellow Kentuckians have gone through after a string of storms has resulted in several tornadoes, we believe, at this time in the western part of our state, some which were captured on video, and the likes of which have left Mayfield and other parts of Kentucky, at least portions thereof, in ruins. This video has been circulated, I would imagine, worldwide at this point, taken by Randall Reed outside his workplace. It shows the tornado coming through Mayfield, but the National Weather Service has also confirmed a tornado in Breckinridge County yesterday that right now may have been an estimated EF2. That's still yet to be determined, but it definitely was a tornado. Further to the west, I'll share with you in just a moment some photographs shared by the West Kentucky Star, who is confirming that storm damage there has left several people injured, nearly a dozen in the Mayfield area. And it's also been confirmed there by the National Weather Service. And these pictures paint a picture that we are all too familiar with here. It just takes one time to go through it to forever understand what they indeed are going through. Homes and businesses damaged or destroyed, buildings just wiped away, as we have seen the debris left strewn about and in the trees, as it will continue to be for years to come. The tornado actually left there and then went on into Marshall County, leaving behind 10 injured. One man was said to have literally been able to stay alive after just basically holding on for dear life to a tree before being blown away. These images come from, once again, the West Kentucky Star, and weather has been much more calm in that area today. However, they, like we are, us not to the degree that they are still looking at some more and continued active patterns weather-wise, insult to injury, which is quite often the case. And this indication, as presented by the National Weather Service, doesn't take into account the Mayfield tornado, but the one in Breckinridge County. And you can see, of course, the trace that the storms took and possibly touched down in those areas. All under investigation by the National Weather Service. A wedding in the ag department at the high school still yet to come, a scam still yet to come as well, and your list of finalists for the Montgomery County School Superintendent position all still to come. Right now, here's what's coming up on tonight's Montgomery Farm Bureau community calendar. A reminder about the kickoff to summer youth concert at New Generation this Friday, 7 to 9. All youth groups, all of our youth urged to attend. Come and have a wonderful evening of worship and entertainment in their kickoff to summer concert. The head of Coon Creek United Baptist Church has put together a Sunday school benefit this coming Monday. They'll be out in front of the IGA in a food booth with a full-blown soup, bean dinner, fried potatoes, kraut, wieners, cornbread, cake, just $6. And you can pick up, or they will deliver in town and the surrounding or nearby area. Pre-order or call that day, 496-6859. And for whatever reason, and I have another number, obviously. That's the one on your screen, 496-9026. Either one of those numbers will work. I'll get them both on screen tomorrow. And they're holding church in the Ramey Park Saturday the 21st, a week from this Saturday. I'll remind you about it next week. Several pastors, some groups singing, free food. They hope you'll join them for a big day of church in the park starting at 10 o'clock that morning on the 21st. And the Elk Creek Free Will Baptist Church has scheduled their 5th annual bass tournament for May the 21st at the Alfrey Boat Ramp on Cave Run. They'll start at 7 that morning. First place is $1,000. Prizes all the way down the line, big fish and more. Call the numbers at the bottom of your screen to get registered or show up that morning bright and early at Alfrey Boat Ramp on Cave Run. And if you'd like your birthday, anniversary, or announcement to be shown here, just tell me. We'll tell everyone about it. I filmed a few weddings in my day, some with my parents. I can recall at least one in the courthouse that made a story. As a local officer, I believe it was, got wedded, maybe another. However, this is a first for me, and there are a whole lot of firsts in this story. This is definitely the first wedding that I've covered at any high school, the first that I'm aware of happening at the Montgomery County High School in any department that we're aware of. It's also the first that I've covered or even talked about, and even that's happened as far as I'm aware of, that's been part of a final project for a class, and that list of firsts goes on. But it's not the first wedding for Brandon and Norma Crockett, who were wed with family and close friends back this past Christmas. As for yesterday's ceremony before an ordained minister and their classmates and friends, it all began with a class project.
I wanted the final floriculture project to be designing a wedding challenge. Originally it was individually that they'd have to plan their own wedding and we would just present. But when Brandon and Norma got married over Christmas, I thought, well, we can make this a little bit more hands-on, a little more fun. So we decided to turn it into the 4 Weddings Challenge, where they got into groups and they designed weddings, and Cassandra was on the team that won.
Cassandra was also the flower girl as well, and this team, which consisted of Cassandra, Savannah Rao, Sean McGuire, and Tyler Bailey, may have a future in floral and or wedding decorations. A beautiful setting, a beautiful ceremony, all for a young, beautiful couple who had the opportunity to share their special day, again, with friends and classmates.
Who gives this woman to be married to this man?
The 4th period floriculture class.
Norma, I give you this ring as a symbol of my vows made. And with all that I am, and all that I have, I indeed honor you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
We mainly just looked at the personality of Brandon and Norma, and they're both really country, so we decided to do a country chic wedding, and they love the color blues and greens, so we added that into the colors.
It was a very nice wedding that they had prior to this, but I loved being able to give them parts that they may have missed out on, like the engagement photos and having an aisle to walk down, people to watch, friends. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah. That's about the same with me too.
Right. And to really see the floriculture class come together, and they did all of this. I have been testing, so I've not even been in the room, and they've done a fantastic job.
A fantastic job indeed. Congratulations to the newlywed couple, or not so newlywed couple. And I also want to tag to that story, regretfully, but in doing so, wishing her well at the same time, that Kendall Wright is leaving the McGoffin County High School at the end of this school year. She has been very well received and respected, and she's going to be missed at the McGoffin County High School. Her husband is either just getting out of or getting ready to graduate medical school, I believe, and is being relocated to another portion of the state. And they've been living in Pikeville. She's been making that trek for a while, and they are going to be moving to another part of Kentucky. She has been at the McGoffin County High School for 2 years, teaching floriculture and animal science, and has been a very integral part of the agriculture department, and she's going to be missed. We've done an interview or two with her on a few of her projects before. She's been delightful, and she's been a wonderful asset to the high school, as I suspect she will be to her next endeavor. I'll be right back. After interviewing the finalists for the McGoffin County School Superintendent position over the course of the last 2 evenings, the McGoffin County Board of Education has now made public that list of finalists. Out of the original 16 applicants, with a few from out of state, 5 in-state and in-county for the most part, as far as residents, and 1 resident working out of the county, have been narrowed down to that list of 5 finalists, and all are or have been long time part of the McGoffin County school system. Kim Patrick, now the federal Title I coordinator, previously the chief financial officer and elementary school principal with the school system for more than 28 years. Mark Rice, assistant principal for Sagesville Grade School, teacher before that, current principal of South McGoffin Elementary, 26 years in the school system. Scott Helton, principal of 2 elementary schools, principal of the middle school, Head Start director, current assistant school superintendent, and 28 years under his belt. William Helton, 33 years since retired, teacher, elementary principal, and high school principal. And Sanford Holbrook, former McGoffin County Director of Vocation, former Director of Vocation for Morgan County, and the current Superintendent of Robertson County. The 5 finalists, one of which to be named as the new Superintendent of Schools after the next McGoffin County Board of Education meeting, which is set for the 27th at 4 o'clock. And I knew I was perhaps being a little optimistic that I could get all of these headlines into a half-hour program. So we will tomorrow talk about the scam forwarded to the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department from West Liberty and how it involves both counties and both departments, so to speak. But for now, a quick update on your Licking Valley RECC forecast. Temperatures into the 80s today with some sunshine and some clouds. We'll see those increasing clouds throughout the remainder of your overnight. We'll see a low tonight of 61. We've seen a nice break in the action today. We will see, guess what, a chance of some showers and thunderstorms later on tonight to the tune of about 60%, mainly between midnight and 2 a.m. Not as threatening, not as intense, and not as organized of a system, but still the chance thereof. And I'm comparing that, of course, to last night. As for your Thursday, scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, highs in the low 80s. We'll see, that scattered chance to the tune of 30% during the day with mostly cloudy skies, maybe a peak or two of sun, but very little. Tomorrow night, though, we've got more action coming. A cold front's coming in. Showers and thunderstorms will pick up in intensity after 2 in the a.m., taking us into Friday, where we'll have some isolated showers before 7, some sunny skies, and then cooler conditions, 73, and diminishing shower chances for your Friday. A pretty good chance early, very early, up to 7 or 8, and thereafter only a slight chance, and the 70s should be a nice end to your work week. The weekend, not all that bad, not all that warm either. Here we are, 40% chance of showers, mainly between 8 and 5 on your Saturday, early to mid-afternoon, partly sunny. Check out the temperature, 64 and 40. And Sunday looks to be like a nice fall afternoon, early spring, 62, 42, mostly sunny, partly cloudy, nice, calm, and clear into your weekend. We'll pick it up next Monday as we see temperatures start to climb back to the 70s, but we'll also work in that continued threat of showers and thunderstorms throughout much of next week. Well, with all of that said and covered in the half hour, I still have news and information and reports that I have been mentioning for the past couple of nights, still yet to get to, and some other reports that we are indeed working on. Can't tell you how glad we are that you could join us for this program, and hope to see you here for the next. Good night, and thanks for watching.